believe that God actually exists. Except the God that exists, that created this universe and the multiverse, not in the Quran, not in the Torah, not in the Talmud, not in the Bible, not in the Sumerian tablets, not in the Egyptian Book of the Dead, not in the Mahabharata, not in the Bhagavad Gita, not in the Indian Vedas, not in the Epic of Atrahasis, not in the Epic of Gilgamesh. I can keep going. Guess what, guys? I'm one of the foremost world leader in the knowledge on ancient texts and tablets, scriptures, papyruses, and cylinder scrolls. And guess what? In all the ones I've gone through over thousands over the years, not one of them is speaking about the creator of the universe, which is real. I acknowledge that. Matter of fact, so did the Anunnaki. They claimed to know that they were going to get in trouble for what they did on this planet by the creator of all, which tells you that they knew they weren't the creator of all, that there was somebody even above them, an entity, an energy, a life force of something above them that had a say-so, and they would have to find judgment one day. So they knew they weren't God, even though they masqueraded as God. They became the gods of the Torah and the Talmud and the Bible and the Quran and all these texts. The Elohim, which means plural, gods with an S.
See, this is one of those videos where I tell you guys how I 50-50 on Billy Carson. I had to move because it was hot. But anyway, so I 100% agree with Billy Carson in the fact that all these different writings are not writing about the true God, if there is a God. Now, Billy Carson said he does believe that there is a God. I'm 50-50. I believe that there could be, if there's enough evidence to prove that there is a God, then I will accept that there is a God, and I accept that there may be that evidence out there. I just don't know it or haven't seen it yet. And if I ever see it, then I will go ahead and be accepting of it. But it has to be proven. Because it only makes sense to me that if you are a God and you want me to believe in you and love you and do all these things towards you, then you need to make it evident that you exist. If you are a God and you are not making it evident that you exist, but still expect me to believe in you, sorry, that's a no-go. That is a no-go. Like I say, that's like me telling a woman who lives on the other side of the world that you need to love me and believe in me without any evidence of me being in your life, but you still need to love me. That doesn't work. No woman is actually going to go for that. Just like I wouldn't go for that. You could be the finest woman in the world, best woman, wife material, everything. But if you're on the other side of the planet and I've never met you, why would I ever love you? Right. Doesn't make any sense. Exactly. But what I'm saying does make sense. That's why it's hurting some of these people's feelings. Now, so I agree with Billy that there could be a God, but that God hasn't presented itself. Now, moving on. Billy talked about the fact that in all these books are not talking about the one true God. That is exactly true. They are talking about the Sumerian version of the Anunnaki, because all of these stories are similar in the effect of something came from above, some beings came from above and let everybody know who they were, brought them these new technologies, gave them these understandings, gave them the concept of civilization and so on and so forth, and represented themselves as gods because they had a longer lifespan. That fits with the Sumerian story of the Anunnaki. So it is acceptable that it could be Anunnaki. Now, me personally, I think it's a pre-existing civilization that came before. They didn't live, they didn't come from some other planet. Because if I'm going to the Sentinel Islands and I'm flying over on an airplane, I look like I'm coming from another planet. I'm coming from the above. The cult, the cargo cult video that I did a couple of weeks ago, those people in those islands thought that the U.S. Air Force were gods, and they still worship them to this day. You know, so they worship John Frum, who they believe are gods because they came from the heavens, came from above. So it doesn't necessarily mean you came from outer space. Could have been just a pre-existing civilization before the last ice age. So I disagree with Billy on the fact that they're aliens. I can't quantify whether or not he is one of the foremost authorities on all these writings and scrolls. I do know he gets a lot of shit wrong, but everybody gets things wrong. Nobody is perfect in any way, shape, or form. But one of the last things I want to key on is the fact that when he was saying that the Anunnaki actually believe in a higher power, a God, they do. But even within the Anunnaki, they have denominations of it. For instance, Enlil and Anu believes in a God of judgment, whereas Enki, who taught the Hermetics, would lead you to believe that he thought of the all as the creative source energy, masculine and feminine, having duality, the duat, which is why you get those teachings in the areas that Enki was supposedly in, like Egypt. But you get those types of teachings of the duat, of duality. So they weren't even they weren't on one accord according to what they believed based on the information that we have concerning them. But the fact remains that they still understood and thought that there was some higher power that was above them. But then they created religions, and think about it, they created religions based a little bit on that higher power belief that they had, but supplanted themselves as being those higher powers, and then utilized but then because of their own greed and their own egos, decided that they were going to make themselves gods. And these are the gods that people are worshiping. Now, for anybody who disagrees with this, especially since this is a Christian deconstruction channel, I want you to think about it. The god the god Yahweh was El's son. El was Enlil in the Canaanite religion. So Enlil is the son of Anu, who is also the son of the Most High God in the Anunnaki's program, religion. So they follow that line over thousands of years of changing. And because the Anunnaki were supposedly living 200,000 plus years, Enlil just changes his name as he goes through the line. Just like Marduk, some believe that Marduk changed his name to Ra and became the chief god over the Egyptians. So none of these books are telling you who the true God is. The Hermetics is the closest thing. If there is a God, the Hermetics is teaching you the closest thing, and that is that the all in all, that the all is all mind, just mental energy that manifested the universe within its own mind. In the same way you have a dream. And that the all is a balance of masculine and feminine energy, which is necessary in order to create. And that it understands the law of rhythm, the law of vibration, the law of correspondence, and so on and so forth, creating many dimensional planes within his mind. And we can only exist within those dimensional planes on the highers and lowers, but never outside of the mind of the all, because the creation can never be outside of the created. That is the closest I will get and give to a God right now. So what do you guys think? Remember, always subscribe to the channel, and remember, you got to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.